haven't.
A very good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Women's Day Facebook Live series. Today we have guest is Bandana Sinha. Bandana Sinha is an MBA in healthcare and B.Tech from computer science in IIT Lucknow. Her expertise is in incubation of new businesses, technologies, and processes, and large global transformations. Her domain expertise is in country finance and taxation, large enterprise IT, with passion for healthcare. She was the first lady resident manager at TCS for Lucknow branch, was CIO for TCS operations globally at a very interesting time when it had just gone public in 2004-2005. She has worked in various countries with diverse workforce and cultural backgrounds like Japan, Thailand, Vietnam, UK, USA, and of course cities in India like Lucknow, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Delhi, and currently in Mumbai. She considers this learning by moving around as an integral part of her leadership exposure. She has participated in two key marathons and has just completed 30 years in TCS. Welcome, Vandana.
Thank
So I
you.
would request Rini to take the conversation forward.
Thank you so much. Firstly, wishing you a very happy Women's Week, and thank you
Thank,
so much for joining us today.
thank you. Thank you,
You
Rini.
have done so much. I'm like impressed already. So I think our viewers are going to be the same. So let's start. So firstly, tell us about what do you do exactly? Like, what is your job all about?
Thank God this question is not from my peers and supervisors. What do you do? Well, I do as IT consulting solution services. It's all in the domain of IT, and as she just mentioned, I've specialized in the country finances, taxation, corporate finances, so all the fields that women typically weren't expected to in those days, and of course, life sciences and healthcare domains, which are very very close to my heart. To explain in simpler terms, for example, the transformation at TCS that we talked about, we were going from 20,000 plus people to 2 lakh people in a very short span of time, and needed all our data and analytics on top of it, and operational systems, connectivity, offices to look similar across the globe, all that, and that how to bring it about with the use of leveraging technology, how to make it seamless. It's like, when you have a those days we had a Lenovo laptop. So if you have a laptop made from one place versus the other, it should look seamless. So how could we do that for the organization? A project delivered from one place to another versus how could we make that seamless? We thought around it. There were close to 200 programs that we thought of and then implemented all in parallel. Absolutely beautiful, exhilarating time. So these are the kind of IT enabled programs that we do to bring about seamless transformation and
Yeah, some network issues there, so she'll be just joining in. Yeah, you can just call up and just find out. So yes, everyone, we have already shared about Vandana. She's doing so well, and she's been there throughout this organization. So it's so good that if you're in one organization for so many years, you actually reach to up at a certain very senior level. Like if I talk about myself, I was in TY for good odd 12, 13 years. So it's right now, like with this coming generation, I think they should also take a lesson that one should be there in some organization working with those various levels so that you are easy to rise, you can rise easily in those organizations. So that is something, and she has been there. We have seen her working. We had studied in school together. We were school friends. We studied till class 10th. So now she's here. Welcome back again.
thank you
Yeah,
to expect
hey,
thank you to
welcome
expect
back.
thank you to expect technological glitches in this
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. Okay, Vinny, continue.
Okay, where were we? So when did I get lost? I didn't realize.
So basically, we're talking about the seamless expectations of different projects.
Okay, so I was talking about, for example, a large hospital chain for which we did a patient-centric transformation of the hospital management system, and to even today, when it runs, it's years later. When we walk into the hospital, it is touching the life of thousands of citizens across the country. It's a chain of hospital, and it's such a beautiful feeling. And it was not only for these commercial projects that we did. uh, Similar, we lightened up the whole system and took it to the Adyar Cancer Research Institute, Chennai one. And the satisfaction that we get out of doing these kind of things is, luckily we are part of an organization, this that gives an open hand and empowerment to think and fly. So that's what I love doing best, and that's what we do: think and fly. So sky's the limit, and it is all whatever you can think you are able to do, provided it is for the right cause and the right things. So that's what we do.
That is
Yeah,
great,
back
and
to
that is
you.
huge. There's so much of work in different areas that you have worked and greatly impacted the citizen across India and across world, I guess. So, since you have been working in this field from quite a long time, say 30 years, so did you never thought of starting something of your own or any other government services? Like, why is that?
Uh, See, government services, though it is a particular time. If you haven't done it at that time, then later on, even if you want to, and it gives a
Will
beautiful
be.
exposure. Okay, so thereafter, later it is difficult to get back into the government service. So if I had done it at the beginning of my career, it would have happened. But then we got into jobs and we loved it, and we continued doing that, and it has given us all the exposure. Now, the other question that you're saying,
Of
have
your
you
own.
of the your own ventures of entrepreneurships? Yes, we've thought about it multiple times, but you see, why do people move into entrepreneurship? To realize their dreams, to make money, okay, to make their name and fame. Okay, so if I talk about realizing the dreams, what happened is, I moved into an organization which allows people to dream, gives empowerment and full backing to do it. So that same hospital management system that I told you about, I wanted to do it. I moved myself around and got into the unit which was doing it, and went ahead and did what I wanted to do. Like for that commercial hospital, like that Adyar I shared, how we took it to that other cancer research institute. Similarly, many other industry trusts that were seeded, it just kept spurring me on and on. So because this kind of reach and support systems and all, as an entrepreneur, probably I wouldn't have been able to bring in that such organizations can pool together. So if you say, why didn't you think of entrepreneurship? I actually got it all in on a platter inside when it comes to, realizing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
When it comes to, creating something for a cause, yes, I wanted to, I've started thinking about it much more in the last few years. I do want to leave a legacy behind. And this came from, one of our colleagues told us about Mr. F.C. Kohli. He's a idol, and we simply were lucky to be with him. And so Mr. F.C. Kohli used to say that you need to start this while you still have the energy, you have the passion, the ideas, and the strength to experiment and fail. I mean,
That's
I actually remember his words like that, to experiment. So you start on it now. So this sort of has started resonating with me in the last 2 years that I heard it, and yeah, maybe we'll see. Okay, and
in the
last
coming future.
yes. And the last thing, the money, that takes you to the entrepreneur, because as a corporate world, you will be earning this much. And as an entrepreneur, your valuations for something which is a hit business could go out. Frankly, I don't have the time to spend more. So what will I do with earning more? My passions occupy all my time. So
Matlab,
that's my story.
that you have answered this question so I would say so inspiringly that people should find joy in what they're doing, They should not consider it's like doing for something else or somebody else. It's basically realizing your dream, and no matter where you're doing it. So this is
Absolutely.
like a really inspirational for me, and I think it's going to be for everybody out there. So
Thank you.
basically kept you moving in this very competitive work culture?
Hmm. Actually, the joy of working. The joy of working, the positive impact that the chosen programs that I have been for the organization, these programs have the impact they've had on lives of people, on my country's growth, on many other purposes that these programs served. That's what keeps us moving. This may sound cliche, but I get so immersed in, doing what I'm doing that I become oblivious to the surroundings. It's a
Yeah.
drawback actually not to be aware of the ecosystems and the reactions around you. But given a choice to relive my experiences again, I would want to be myself again. As it is these shortcomings actually that make me enjoy the work without the thought of rewards or repercussions. And
Right.
of course, if I could have the best of both the worlds, also do my
Very
work
best.
happily and also get the rewards. Nothing like it, but
Yeah.
God has given me enough, so I'm happy
Cherry
with
on
it.
the cake. So,
Yeah.
like you said, the balance. So, how do you balance your work and family both being a full-time job?
Actually, I don't. I had a very great support system in my parents till a few years back, and now too I've built a support system at my place who runs the show at home, takes care of my pets and everything. I don't spend. Actually, I'm a true Tata model. Single, happy, content with work, zaban ka pakka, intent ke noble, love for
Oh,
pets, love for country, everything. So
oh
true
my God.
Tata model.
Total
Okay, but
package.
but I think to be able to spend time in your careers, a good support system and a nurturing family is required for everyone. But much more so for ladies than for men, because the way when I see people at close quarters struggling with multiple agenda items in their lives, yes, a supporting family and a good home support system, that's absolutely essential.
Right, that's true. What qualities are required to sustain and grow in this field of work?
Mm,
Specifications.
okay. Actually, as technocrats, we need to be on top of technology, how it can transform lives, how it can transform, the businesses that people operate in. So there are drastic. I mean, earlier we used to see technology changes maybe in 5 years and 10 years time. Now it is changing every 2 3 years, and the kind of change that it is going to bring on in lives is huge. So it's dreaming about the possibilities that is greatly required in this field of work. Look at these levers that you have as technology in your hands, and how can you transform this for the betterment of society or whatever business is. The resilience, because you need to keep trying and trying again. It's something in the mind. It's not there out there in the field that you can think of. So the resilience, the passion for the ideas, good intents, okay, and of course right stakeholder alignment to give the wings to the ideas, they're all very
Yeah,
important to
that's
sustain this field of work.
that is
Yeah.
true. So, what are the things one should not be impacted while working?
Okay, one should not be impacted. Obviously, like my clear answer is failures. When you dream big and take things at scale, spread technical levels which no one has attempted before, at times you will fail, and you will be looked like at like a person with impossible ideas. She comes and dreams of things and wants it done. But if you believe in it and you believe in the good that it can do, just sustain. So things that one should not be impacted to is by failures, I would say. I have at times been literally thrown out of a program that I was entrenched in for 3 years. I built that, and then just to the closure, it was not just before the last hump we
Yeah.
was moved out, but within next 3 months, that program where I was moved out was awarded across Tata companies as the best one across. Did I feel bad? Yes. But should I not embark on my next dream venture? Absolutely no. I mean, done, dusted. That's okay. We move on and we move to the next one. Yeah. And if you have no stories to tell, then maybe you've not played it. You've played it too safe. You haven't tried
That's
out
true
enough.
sportsmanship, I guess.
Sportsman or not, but unless you try out and do what you want to and make it there, I mean, a few failures in life is they teach you more than what the successes would have taught you.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah.
So, do you think the journey in corporate world is different from men and women, and how?
Mm,
Yes.
Actually, I'll tell you very frankly, I've gone like this on this particular question. So, till the first 15 years of my career, the thought it did not even enter my head whether I was a woman or a man. It was, again, in an IT field, it is a little more, it's much more equal than probably in other industries and field work and those kind of things. But it did not even occur once that as a woman it might be different for me. All was even, especially and the organizations and the kind of clients that we have, this just didn't happen. However, when I hit the CXO level, that was the time that there were very few women in that leadership CXO rung, and we did not know how to conduct ourselves. And I also felt too small when I went into that place, straight out of Lucknow and into these places. I mean, I would hesitate to place my views. A person who's vocal and local like me
You
also went
feel
quiet. Yeah, I went quiet in those board meetings and stuff, and couldn't express my ideas as I don't know for what. It was just in my brains because people were all very encouraging. Then someone else would whatever I was thinking, somebody else would say the same, and the point would get very well appreciated, lauded, and I would sit there, oh, it was my idea, and then you are sitting there. But these kind of things, that time we didn't have this kind of women coaching network and supportive and all that, and we used to be very hesitant about talking of our own hesitations with the others. So I made all the possible goof ups that you are taught in MBA programs not to do. Everything, every mistake in life I made and learned. However, in the
and
last
learn.
decade, so learn, you can learn by mistakes, or you can learn by executive coachings, other people's exposure. So in the last decade, once again, I see a lot of executive grooming taking up for women. There are plenty of supportive women also at all levels now, and also of course the women have become very bold these days. Women do not shy off in putting up their ideas or anything as well. So I think in the last decade, again, I feel that it is all very even and uh,
Fallen into
well
place.
studied again.
So, do you think for women, for people, or basically girls joining now, is there a difference from when you joined this industry and for the newly emerging women in this field?
I
What
think,
is the
see,
difference like of
hmm,
30 years?
see, that time the ratio was less of number of women versus men, but in the initial runs, in the straight out, because see, mine was almost the batch which had the first computer sciences. We saw the computers for the very first time in the classrooms and things there. So that era people, the number of girls was a minority. Now, even in the startup stage, it's a pretty even balance of male and female. And I don't think whether your colleges or your support systems anywhere have that kind of extended difference.
Yes.
Right from school stages to now, I don't feel that those kind of differences are there. Yes, the number of people have tapered as you go to the higher level, because you need to give it a little more time for this mass to reach up and up and be there in equal numbers. So there is still a lesser number of people in the senior set,
That is.
but the awareness is quite high. The even in the male colleagues, the awareness that you have to be supportive, you've got to be understanding, a directive to them that be supportive of the women. These kind of things are there quite a lot. So today we don't feel that much of a difference.
So what you're trying to say is basically the times have changed and they have changed for good.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That is good to hear. So you, as mentioned by Parna ma'am, you have worked in many countries. So did it really help you grow as a person?
Actually, I actually have firm belief. You know, in earlier days, people used to say when you travel, he's a wise monk, he has traveled so many countries and things. I completely appreciate that now after being to countries all across. So, US, UK are typically countries which are English speaking and a lot of similarities now versus then. Then, though I had not even seen ATM and all this, which a lot of us I saw, but these are countries which are English speaking and by and large easy to mingle into. But when I worked in countries like Japan, like Vietnam, I mean, each country had a flavor of its own. Trying to understand them, trying to understand the culture, very very different. I mean, I'll tell you about Vietnam. I had gone, I think, in 2000 or something, and it was a country devastated by war at that time. And this country, Vietnam, um, every single guy that I met who I had gone there to consult them to set up an IT organization. And when I met them, every single one had a PhD from Harvard, this from there, this was, and I said, all these PhDs are they're so significantly well educated, and me a B.Tech from here. And the entire thought process of them was they had come back after all these studies to help grow their country. The kind of passion to grow and develop IT in the country that I saw in these people in Vietnam, I have not seen anywhere else, not even in India. I mean, that was Vietnam really touched my heart. Similarly, Japan. I had gone there on a bank assignment, and that was also a consulting assignment on the process changes and all things that were happening in those times for banks to give 100% anytime, anywhere, on all those. So, I mean, we used to see the news, which was mainly in Japanese and all. And then I saw one of the CEOs was crying. I couldn't understand what was happening. Why was the CEO crying in a public media? His stock shares had fallen and something like that had happened. And so they were crying. Okay, I could not imagine somehow, even myself, if I were in a CEO role or something, to start crying if this and publicly, and to feel so much. And the way they felt that time, I didn't think or know that I would be also remain in the same organization for 30 years. But I was very the guy remains, and he's feeling so much for his organization. The kind of passion that he had, the literally with it's you learn new things from every culture, and I think the ways of working in every city is very different. It's almost like a new world, a new organization. Your technologies and things may be same, but to come to the same end result, you need different tips and tactics and things. So yes, it's been an immense learning by moving around. So much so, today when I meet people, and mostly, these large city people, because they don't have to displace from their key locations. So they haven't moved to anywhere. So I feel they haven't seen life. They haven't understood. They don't. So somehow, unless people move around, I think the understanding of the culture, from a distance you can read and things, but when you feel it,
Yeah.
it's very very different. Yeah.
So what you're trying, so basically traveling not just like adds places to your visited places, but basically makes you a different person altogether. Their culture,
Absolutely.
their people leaves somewhat like little or maybe big an impact on what you are today. On anybody
Yes.
who travels for
Yes.
work or anything. So
I
I think,
I'm
yeah.
a firm believer in that, Rini. Firm believer in that. The more you travel, the more you learn.
So, like you just mentioned, in your early 15 years, you were at CXO level, so you were lost at some point. So, how did you overcame that? Like, what made you
Okay.
moving and come out of that shell?
I'll again take the name of Mr. FC Kohli there. See, it's very important to have the right mentors. And
Yeah.
not that your mentor has to sit and guide you the day in and day out. what happened is I had just moved to Bombay from Lucknow, and I was literally frightened. What will I do? How will I do? Thrust into a global role like that, not wanting to show it to the world that I was frightened, but I was. And I met Mr. Kohli in the lift. We happened to meet in the lift. So Mr. Kohli asked me, Mr. FC Kohli, incidentally, is the father of IT industry in India, not only
Okay.
TCS. He founded TCS, but across India, he was the first guy to bring this kind of thoughts and that system in place. So Mr. Kohli asked me, okay, what are you doing here in Bombay? He had met me in Lucknow, and somehow he had a fantastic recall and memory of all women, not only women leaders, all leaders at that point in time. So he asked me, "What are you doing here?" And I said, and I was actually, I must have looked very frightened and like a fish out of the pond or whatever. I don't know how he understood, but he said, "Bandana," his typical way of speaking. Go out. What can go wrong? Take the right decision. Do the right thing. Go. Do. I mean, just just like that, a blunt kind of a one two, and his just stating what can go wrong. Nothing can go wrong. Do the right thing. What you feel is the right thing. Go ahead and do. And these kind of on and off, he would call for something and the other, and I would literally stand up on my seat when his call will come. I will this, yes sir, and
That's
he would
a
just say, do
respect.
it like this. Why can't? So another thing I want to talk about Mr. Kohli here, because he's been formative in my attachment to TCS that has happened. He's been one of the formative, outstanding people there that I've known. So I was into a large program where we were firing somebody and getting work back to India and all that. Uh, a very large program. So when I met him in Bombay, again we used to come for meetings, and I used to go and meet him. He said, "Okay, what you are doing this." So then he asked me, for all the people you are intaking, you are organizing trainings for thousands and thousands of people to take up their new roles that we were getting for them to do from India instead of being done from all across the countries. Could you not have, did you not arrange for some trainings for the outgoing people, the people in these countries that we were releasing and taking work on? So did you not arrange for some trainings for them? And I felt so that they could be uh, marketable people. They will get their next jobs easily. And I felt so ashamed that I had not thought of it like that. Okay,
That's
so
something you.
the kind of thought process that these people had, I mean, amazing, amazing, small things for the country, for people. I mean, it's a
Even the
joy to work. Hmm.
even a 2 minute talk with them can make you learn things that are like vast.
Absolutely,
Like
they open your eyes. They open your eyes to
every
possibilities.
word shared by them is a pep talk for us. Of
Absolutely. So the right
inspiration.
mentors, very, very essential to have right
Mental,
mentors, leaders, not managers, leaders.
yeah, that is true. It was lovely listening to you, ma'am. It like really, I learned so much from you and from your experience that you shared. I'm truly blessed that I got a chance to talk with you. That is, thank you so much for joining today.
Thank
And
you.
I'm equally blessed to really, listen to a story of success and the rise and fall, everything. It was really lovely listening to you, Bandana. We've been friends, so होता क्या है कभी इतनी हम लोग deeply बात नहीं करते हैं. But today, really, we got chance. Everybody, I think all our school friends are here right now. They're watching you. So everybody has got chance to really actually listen to things which we have never discussed in
I
person.
know.
Yeah. So it was
It was a
lovely talking
pleasure.
to you, and all the best to your more years, more wonderful years. May you really rise to all levels of TCS.
Greatness.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rini.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
Yeah.
you, Rini. Thank you, Parna. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye.